Hi, Leo Collective. Welcome back to New World Angel. As we are continuing the signed readings for the first half of 2026, the Zodiacal 2026, we are on your reading now. So, as such, we are going to denote the start of April with Aries. May is Taurus. June for Gemini. Cancer for July. Leo, your birthday month, of course, for August. And September, represented by Virgo. This is going to be a current and future reading, although because I am asking my spirit guides to make this one continuous storyline across the first half of 2026, there will inevitably be energies from the past that make their way in. So you should know by the end of this reading whether or not it resonates with you. And if it doesn't, then couple things. Either come back at towards the end of the first half, so right around September time, I would come back and actually re-review the message, see if it doesn't resonate with you, because this is future. There might be certain aspects that have just yet to play out in your world right now as you're listening to this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Go ahead and look at your moon and rising signs too. If you don't know what your moon and rising sign is, go ahead and hop on over to New World Angel. Under education, I have a link that will take you to a birth chart reading where you can find out what signs those are, and it is free. You just need to know what your actual time of birth is and where you were born in order to get those signs. So check those out. And I would say, even if this does resonate with you, still check out your moon and rising signs, because it could tell you just an overall, general reading for yourself for the first half of 2026. Okay? I'm going to pull 3 cards for each month. I'm not going to clarify them, but I am asking Spirit to make this a clear, continuous storyline that is most prevalent in our Leo collective world, and what's going to be most helpful for the collective to hear message-wise, okay? First, I'm going to kick us off with the Philosopher's deck. I want this to be a message that you guys can continuously sort of come back to, pull yourselves back to, that kind of realigns you with what I plan to say today. I don't know why I'm laughing at that, but I am. What's going on for Leo in the first half of 2026? First half of 2026. What is a good message for Leo to hear today? You can journal on these messages. Might even resonate with you in a different way at the end of the first half. If you come back to your journaling session and you re-review that, you might pick up other messages. I get a lot of talking, a lot of forward movement. You guys Leos are just so fiery, explosive in nature. What's going on for Leo? First half of 2026. Oh, yep. 3, 4. I'm not going to take 4. No. We want one, Spirit. Just one. Y'all, I started doing Pilates reformer, like the reformer type Pilates, and I freaking love it. I actually hate like going to the gym. I don't want to know that I'm working out, but with Pilates on the reformer, like it's fun, it's different, and it's not like strenuous, you know, the way CrossFit is or anything like intense like that. It's a secret, like it's secretly intense. It gets you the next day. But anyway, maybe that's relevant for you. Like something hits you differently in 2026. Different than expected. Different than anticipated. Maybe your life is going in a different direction than what you first saw. I don't know, something about that. Or you're just surprised. Maybe you're surprising yourself. All right, I need to pull it together. We're 6 minutes in. How can I acknowledge situations that trigger me as opportunities to practice courage? How can I acknowledge situations that trigger me as opportunities to practice courage? Courage to do differently, see differently, act differently. I think that's what's going to surprise you. Ooh, okay, keep coming back to that. How can I acknowledge situations that trigger me as opportunities to practice courage? Practice courage, right? Not just like pretend, you know, like you're actually trying to come to terms with getting outside your comfort zone and doing things differently. But triggering events popping up. Okay, let's get into it. We can do tarot of opposites for our dear Leo collective in the first half of 2026. Let's start with April. What does Leo have on the docket for the beginning of the zodiacal year? What's happening in April? What are the biggest energies? Biggest energies. Okay. Manifestations can be manipulations too. But we'll continue on. Gemini energy. Feel like not manifesting for the right reasons, or like what you're manifesting isn't coming to fruition. Could be timing, could be just, what you're manifesting takes a little bit longer. As Leos, we can be prideful too, so I say we because my rising sign is Leo, and I identify more with Leo than I do with Gemini in different sort of ways, but okay. You still have all the tools, it's just like using them in the right way, yeah. Practicing courage in the right way. Not offloading that. That's a lot of energy from just that one card. Two of Wands. Yeah, this is like what you're trying to create is not wanting to be created. It's like an uphill battle. And I think it has something to do with the intentions behind it, like your reasoning. It's like you're being triggered, and that is what is encouraging you to want certain things. And what Spirit is asking you to do is to have the courage to think and do differently. Hangman in reverse. In order to come out of stagnancy and to actually see the forward movement and to actually produce the results that you want, it's going to require you to acknowledge situations that trigger you as an opportunity to practice courage. So coming to terms with triggers, and then like, yeah, maybe your like reactions to things, like your reactions to the triggers and like what you're trying to create as a part of your reactions. It isn't producing the results that you want because you're triggered and you're just doing it based off of like initial like emotion. And Spirit's like, no, take a beat and think things through before you act. All right, so that's in April. Yeah, and to come to terms with like maybe your pride here. Your pride's involved. It's like how you're being seen, or like how others see you, and it's triggering you into reacting in certain ways. All right, so what's going on in May for our Leos? And we want this to be a continuous storyline. So what's going on in May? Queen of Swords, saying something, speaking something with authority. Queen of Swords can be manipulative with her words too, lying, but we'll see. Like changing storylines, maybe changing up. Oh, maybe May is when you change things up. Let's see. What's going on for Leos in May? Oh. Leo, May. What can they expect in May? Oh, okay. We have Knight of Cups. I kind of get like... Okay, so it's Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's like you come to terms with the intentionality is more or less like coming from a place of almost like heartbreak or not wanting your heart to be broken. Yeah, like maybe missed opportunities with this Emperor in your world, or like it feels like you're not in control of your emotions in May. I believe this is where the change-up starts to occur, is that like you begin to see the triggers, and then you have the opportunity sometime throughout May to sort of like not apologize, but like, or maybe like an apology to yourself, like sort of owning this about yourself. Yeah. About like, were you doing things out of the intention of like, what were your intentions for doing certain things in the past, for certain reactions? And was that true ownership of your feelings, or was that just masking them? You know, like, I kind of get like, I don't want to say that you're hurt, but hurt people hurt others, or are more prone to hurting others because of the hurt that they feel. And instead of like sort of internalizing that and coming to terms with where that hurt stems from, or like why that is a trigger to you in the first place, that you're sort of like, you're owning the fact that the reasons for why you were doing it were just maybe out of heartache, or like not wanting to come to terms with like perhaps situations of the past, or like you just doing things out of a want to do them because, I don't know, like it's sort of the way you've always operated, and this is sort of forcing you to operate in a different way. Yeah, practice courage. It's going to be a practice of your courage to even consider things in a different way, I feel like, come May. Like owning the fact that something didn't work out, and like you are, I don't want to say that you're operating out of like hurt, but maybe you are and you didn't realize it. I don't know. It's obviously very dependent upon like where you're, like what's currently going on in your world. Even though this is future energy, like we don't just like get over things. They tend to follow us until, and we'll just continue to go in circles and be tested in different ways until we learn certain lessons. So I feel like whatever it is that's happening in your world now is certainly going to encourage you to practice another way of being. Maybe another way like you've never even considered before, where it's true ownership of your feelings. That's it, true ownership of your feelings. Okay, well that's like a little bit heavier for the start of the year, but it's goodness. Let's see what June has to bring. I know it's not like it doesn't come, this isn't like super fast moving energy, but let's see what June has to say. What happens for our Leos in June regarding this situation? We're coming to terms with the fact that like what we wanted and what we wanted to see happen maybe didn't happen, and we're having to take ownership in a new way. So what can Leo expect in June? King of Pentacles in the reverse. Hold on. Something having to do with an investment not paying off maybe the way you thought it would. Yeah, Ten of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so now we do have like a second or potentially third energy here, but there's a man that you have gone into business with or have invested in some sort of way, whether that's like a project, I don't know, some sort of like investment, business opportunity. Maybe that doesn't come through, or because of like what you were hoping to happen previously, and I just get a sense that like whatever you're holding on to within this relationship with this person, it in June, you will find that like it's not an investment worth holding on to. Like maybe you're having to take a slight loss or something just doesn't work out for you in June. It's still freeing, right? Like the 10 of Wands in reverse, even though it's weighing heavily on you, the 10 is representative of ending. So regardless of how the investment or how, the business opportunities or just money tied up with this person, how it doesn't work out, it still means that it's ending and it's freeing you to begin something new. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is investments of the past. So whatever you've invested with this person in the time, energy, attention, whatever you consider of value, like actual funds too, business ventures, even, like it can, property, like whatever. I just get like holding on to the thought of, for instance, like what I'm trying to get at, like let's say you are selling a home and like having to come to terms with the fact that maybe like the market has changed or your pricing strategy just like isn't working out, or like you're not going to get what you thought you would get from that investment. You're having to like, you're holding on to a certain ideal of it working out in a way that is just not going to be fruitful for you. It's not helpful for you or for the other person. Like there's a need to release. So what I'm saying is that like, in the case of like selling a property, maybe having to take a loss in order to move forward. That is certainly what this can represent. It feels as though like you're like, fuck, I had a lot tied up in this, and I feel like I'm falling flat on my face. Well, but in reality, there's only so much that you can control, like you can't control the real estate market. And that's just an example. I'm not saying that that's what's happening to you, but that's sort of the feeling that I get here is, that shouldn't be in there. Yeah, like having to acknowledging situations that trigger you as opportunities to practice courage. So this might be like, I have a sign in my room that says, don't get tied to the outcome. And it's like, that cannot be more true, especially when it comes to real estate, because it's like fluctuations in the market and in the way buyers want certain things, or even like how sellers perceive their home in comparison to how a buyer might perceive their home, or just in reality to like how the market actually is. It can feel, there can just be like a lot of just conflicting wants with a lot riding on it, because it is a big investment and you want it to work out, but like holding on to a certain ideal isn't how real estate works. At least it's like you can feel like your home is worth all of what you're asking for, but if the buying market has changed and people don't perceive it the same way you do, or you're pricing yourself in a way that the way the market was years ago, it's not going to get you anywhere. If anything, you're just going to get less than where you initially started, because you're holding on to an ideal that doesn't match reality. That's the feeling that I get, is that like throughout the course of spring into summer, you're just going to have to release, like understand that money might be a trigger for you, and like you had a lot riding on what you were going to do with the funds. And I'm not saying this is real estate involved. I'm just giving you an example to sort of put this all into perspective. I hope that makes sense. Okay. That is the ending, though. So let's hope in July, this is like a new beginning. Where should we go? Yeah. I already get in July like a better, lighter feeling. All right, what's going on for... Yeah, okay. Something about like you sort of already foresee this communication? Maybe in July, like you, I don't know. July, you foresee something. You have a greater understanding. Like your intuition is telling you something. That it's just time or something like that. Let's see. What's going on for Leo in July regarding this situation here? What can they expect in July? I feel like in July you're plotting a new course and it's kind of leaving you at a crossroads almost. Like you're like, okay, I'm free. What do I do now? That's just sort of what I get. Or maybe this is ongoing. We'll see. What's going on for Leo in July? Okay, it's not normal for Leos to be quiet. Spit it out. There we go. You're thinking about this a lot. It's kind of got you all up in your head. You're like, fuck, I really didn't want it to work out this way. Yeah, you feel like it's stopping you from moving forward in some sort of way. You feel like it's stopping your ability to create a happy home life. Yeah. Maybe you had your sights set on... Okay, it's staying in line with the whole property conversation. Let me move you guys back. Staying in line with the whole property conversation. Like, this tells me in July, even though it's a release in some sort of way, you're still up thinking about this. Like, you're kind of ruminating on the fact that, like, you're like, I'm not getting the return I thought I was going to get in order to, create the future that I wanted, like the home life, the ideal home that you wanted. So maybe you had a thought in your head about like how much you were going to get in return, only for that like not to happen. Or maybe this release is a trigger for you. And like once you sort of like get over the fear and rumination of like, I've just gone through this experience, once you get through that, you have the courage to sort of see a trigger for yourself, then that sets your intuition free to then create the happy home life. That's what I get, is like the first 3 months, April, May, June, are all about triggers. And then in July, you finally sort of get over the fear. Like you have the courage to move forward, and then you create like everything you want it to be. Whatever it is though, like you're up at night, like thinking about this a lot. So if you find yourself waking up and you're sort of like ruminating about what's going to happen next, like how am I going to cultivate, you know, what I want in the way I want, recognize that that's a trigger for you, and that spirit is asking you to, you're not going to have all the answers, and that you need to take the steps and move forward anyway towards the future that you want. And maybe control is a thing for you, where it's like, I would love to know all the answers and to see things very clearly ahead of time so that I can make an educated decision. But sometimes it's all about moving forward without having that sight. And that is a trigger in and of itself, because you're like, what's going to happen? You know, like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to have enough money to do the things that I want to do? Am I making the right decision? Am I actually following my intuition, or is this just pride? So I feel like all of the things are just going to sort of present themselves. And it might not be in the clearest sort of way either. You might just find yourself like, I don't know, I'm just constantly thinking about the future and I don't know what it holds. Like that can be a trigger. You know, it doesn't have to be like a home situation or something like so in your face. It's just like over time you've kind of found yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, I'm just scared about everything. Like everything's new or whatever. But I feel like you very quickly get over it and you still move forward anyway. And you do end up creating like happiness for yourself. Beautiful things around you and like a happy home life. It's happening. Yeah, so maybe you feel like, you know, you could have done something else or something more, or like the investment that, you know, you were working on with this person, like the residual effects of that are just sort of lingering with you in July. Okay, let's get into your birthday month. Let's hopefully, I mean, like, you ended July with the 10 of Pentacles. Either way, like, money's coming back to you and it's going to set you free. You're just going to be somewhat stressed out about it. What happens for Leos in their birthday month? What's the energy that they can look forward to? Ending of a cycle. Moving on, closing things out. This is a long-held cycle too. It's been a long time coming. I mean, already from April to July, it's a massive change in direction and feeling in a good way. So it might feel heavy for the next few months, but promise you, towards the middle of summertime, like, you're gonna feel a lot better about the direction that you're heading in and the opportunities in front of you. What's going on for Leo in their birthday month? This is your solar return. This is where you need to set intentions for like, okay, my next year is gonna be fucking fire. Getting to work. Secret work? Or like something that like you've always wanted to do but maybe haven't told people about, and you get the ability to work on it. Ooh, all right. August for Leo, birthday month. Solar return, what can they expect? Collaborations, meeting new people, working with others, just enjoying friends, seeing people. Maybe this frees you up to just like do the things that you've wanted to do for quite some time, but maybe didn't have the time to do. Yeah. I don't know. It kind of gives you the ability to rest and like sort of see the future for yourself. Like I get, yeah, you're plotting the course of your future. You're not moving too fast either. But like, you kind of see where things are headed here in August. There is an element of secrecy, keeping things on the down low. Like not being fully, like it doesn't have to be any sort of like big secret. I just think that like you kind of want to keep, and this can be a relationship, but more so I get like just a partnership, like a meeting of minds with somebody else. And you're starting to see like where this could lead, albeit not being totally forthcoming though. Like there's an element of like, there's an air of mystery. That's what I'm trying to say. In August, there is an air of mystery involved with another person. This is very reminiscent of the reading I did for Cancer. If you have like Cancer at all in your chart, which everyone does, but if it's prevalent in any sort of way, I would maybe listen to that one. The only reason why I say that is because they had a similar sort of readout where it was like heavy at first, but once it got to July and August, things totally lightened up. And that's exactly what's going on here. Like, you go from being all up in your head to full steam ahead, and you're on a mission to create like a happy home life for yourself that's supportive. And then you start working with somebody, and you're starting to see where this where this is going. All these cards are light, and like there's a level of excitement, but you're tempering that excitement. Definitely work situation. What's going on for Leos in September? Are we not so secretive about this in September? What happens? Oh, there's a sense of sweetness and nostalgia here, and innocence, level of giving back, maybe spending time with kids too before school starts. That can be a thing. That can be a thing, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. All right. September for Leos. What can they expect in September? Yeah, I just get like it's an uphill battle to begin with in April. An uphill battle. Like you feel like everything that you're working on is not like, it's not moving fast enough, it's not coming into fruition fast enough, and you're just having to be where you are. And it's like you need to be faced with the fact that perhaps you just don't have control over this situation. But just know that things will lighten up and you will get that forward momentum. You know, Leos are all about like, let's do it. Like, I'm fired up. I'm super passionate about this. And for you to be in an energy that doesn't mesh well with you, you know, we're still in the year of the snake, where it's like shedding layers of the past. And I know for me, that has been ultra triggering because I am so impatient. All I want is like forward movement. I want things now. And when that doesn't happen, I know I get triggered. And that's something I have been working on, where it's just like sitting in it. Doesn't that sound fun? You know. All right, we're September for Leo. Ooh. Whatever it is, you're going to be happy. Ooh, September brings about really good energy to start. You're just like single, self-sufficient, like enjoying the beauties of life. Maybe you take a little beat or like a vacation or something in your birthday month going into September. Whatever it is, you're feeling good. You're feeling lighter and brighter, and there is just like a magnetism about you. People are loving this. Maybe because of like what you're doing secretively in August, it kind of gives you a boost, like a confidence booster. Well, now I want to know. Okay. What else for Leo in September? We got 9 of Pentacles. You are just so content doing your thing, living your life. Oh, lots of self-love. Uh-huh. Maybe a little bit. You might be prone to like overthinking, but regardless, like however you are operating, it's like you're overcoming whatever fear. Like, this is the courage. In September, I believe the fears of the past are no longer fears of the past. Yeah. The karmic wheel, the wheel of fortune is turning in your favor. And you start to begin to see the signs of that. You're no longer in your head. You're not fearful about things. Maybe it's a fear of yours to be single and on your own. Yeah, it's a total de-escalation. So like your stress levels go down. Whatever this collaboration or work project or whatever you're doing that begins in the summertime pulls you out of the ruminating thoughts. And there's still like a little bit of residual fear there, but it's a total de-escalation. And with that de-escalation comes your power. Complete ownership of your world. I feel like you step into this emperor energy where you are like, I am king of my own world. And it's like, it feels so good taking ownership. Like knowing that you did this. You did it on your own. This is yours. And even like I mean, you could even be working with an emperor, somebody who is just, a great leader and is protective of his people and his kingdom and, the projects that he does and what he says. Like, he is, I feel like once you actually, complete this process of, coming to terms with your own triggers and potentially taking a hit when it comes to an investment, you're going to find that you're still going to move forward. And then the collaborations that are already in your energy for the future, albeit not in the most readily seen sort of way, it's actually going to set you free. And it's not going to be as stressful for you anymore. Look at that! Family, soul tribe energy. What a great fucking reading, Leo. By the time September comes around, look at this. 2 completely different energies. This is the beginning where you feel like everything you're doing is it's just not working out the way you thought it would. But then by September, there is complete ownership and a level up that you are so secure and firm as to where you stand, what you feel, what you're doing, the direction that you're heading in, and how you want your life to look. Not to mention, and celebrations too, but you saw the 10 of Cups. You did. I pulled that up, and you're just gonna be so happy. And there's celebrations involved. Well, okay, if that isn't the best way to end this reading, I do not know what is. So I love you guys so much. Like I said, if this doesn't resonate with you now, doesn't mean that it won't in the next couple of months. So you might even want to check back. This isn't going to be posted until March anyway, but maybe come back in June to remind yourself okay, she did say that things are going to lighten up this summer. So just keep this in mind and keep this in mind. And I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Okay.